the first series of the day. One of the series that is available is marcotamby against Sparta, so we'll hop right into that. For some reason the draft is not really showing. Let me double check that. It should show now. There you go. So it is a best of 3 series in round 1 and 2. And so it's a smaller draft, as you can see. And both players, they already done the draft. They're in game Golden Horde against Knights Templar of all civilizations on Lipany. So this should be an interesting series to start it off. A little bit unusual civilization matchup, I would say. Players are in game, so we can hop right into that. Need to switch that in game. There we go. And there we have it, folks. So Sparta playing the Knights Templar in pink on the left side of Lipany, and his opponent marcotamby playing the Golden Horde on the right side. Player colors pink and purple respectively. So we're gonna have a fun time, you know, seeing kind of close colors here battling it out against each other. Knights Templar, not so much known as a strong land civilization. They're usually more often featured on water maps because of the harbor and their very, very strong eco. Most notably, they don't have to build lumber mill, and they have a strong wood eco scaling in with the ages. That also provides them a little bit of food income, kind of the same like the Rus with getting gold by getting food from sheep. They get wood from food from wood. Golden Horde, the variant civilization of the Mongols, although they cannot move their buildings, they're missing that, and so they're a little bit more settled civilization. And they have the golden tent, which means that they don't have to build landmarks in a traditional way. It's more like Abbasid and Ayyubids. They have different sort of wing choices they can go for. And that's one of the differences that they have. The other difference is, as you see, they produce 2 villagers at the same time, but it takes a little bit. It takes more than 1 villager, but it takes a little less than 2 would do. So overall, that is a nice eco bonus. So a little bit more focused on the economy. With that, we can take a very brief look at scouting. Sparta just made his way over here, scouting what his opponent is doing. Maybe there's some Dark Age shenanigans, which Golden Horde is not super strong with, but is not opposed to either. On the other side, we have marcotamby, who just went over to look for Knights Templar, who also can do Dark Age aggression, of course, and sometimes they like to do that, and nothing of the sort. So both players are just playing the regular standard stuff. Knights Templar aging up with the Knights Hospitaller. They also don't have to build landmarks. They're researching that from the town center. I have 3 different options to choose from. They're going for the more economy way with the Knights Hospitaller buffing the health and move speed of the villagers, as well as having men-at-arms that can heal. Building cards on the other side. The lesser popular, I would say, wing choice for the Golden Horde. Usually most people opt for the Khan and Tor goods, which reduces the cost of the Khan and Tor goods and also increases their health. The building cards, however, they produce 2 building cards, so they can be unpacked into military building, whatever you choose. So you're very flexible in what you do, and then you also get 1 for the later ages as well. So it's just a nice way to have a very quick military on the field. Sparta is on wood and stone, so he is most likely opting for a 2 TC option, pulled off gold completely. So very standard 2 TC Knights Templar opener. Should have a second TC open up and running at about 5 minutes usually, maybe a little bit less than 5. Later than 5 maybe. marcotamby is already on wood, but he will again also get the building cards, maybe he'll go for a quick blacksmith, or he'll just go for additional military buildings, or maybe mass archers. So we're gonna see what he's going to go for. There's the fortified outpost, and then the two buildings gonna be placed right next to that, which with the edict, the production speed edict, is gonna be really nice for mass and quick military production. Sparta did scout that out, so he's not gonna be surprised about archery range stable. And yeah, then we're going to go from there. We don't have the Batu Khan on the field yet. As I'm saying that, there you go. So the first military units are on the field, then we're gonna have archers. Another difference, of course, Golden Horde doesn't have the Mango die. They instead have the Kipchak archers, but they are only available in Castle Age. So it's gonna be Archer, Keshik, plus the Batu Khan and potentially some Torguts, but you're paying full price, so I don't know how often you can actually go for them. Sparta reacting with putting down a quick wall here, has a kind of conservative second town center, so he didn't choose to go on the deer, which I'm pretty sure he wanted to. It looks like he prepared everything for that, but would be a little bit too risky to do that. Then you have to defend that pretty much. He doesn't want to go into military really at this point, and then his opponent could just burn everything down. The walls are not gonna finish in time, or actually should just be in the nick of time for the Batu Khan to not be able to move through here. And then we have first military building barracks coming up. So we have Spearmen and the Knights Hospitaller, which again, men-at-arms that heal. So should be a solid defensive composition for the Knights Templar at the moment. Archers arriving on gold, so we still don't have any gold income. The only gold income that we can get at some point would be the safe passage with the pilgrims. But yeah, that also is quite expensive, so it is an investment that you have to be careful when to go for it. Stable also being added, another quick wall. So let's take a look at the stats, how we're looking. Golden Horde currently apparently has a lot more collected resources, and the military, the army value of course is way in favor right now, but at the same time there's not too much you can pressure actually right now. We have the wall here, so you can't get in here, you can't really get in here. I mean, you could go past the building and the wall here, this doesn't completely connect. So you could kind of go in here and then try to maybe get into the woodland, but then there's the double TC here, so that's not really fun to do. You can burn down the mining camp, but you don't get the bounty here as the Mongols do. And other than that, it's yeah, pretty difficult to actually do something here. Kind of frustrating as the Golden Horde here. I mean, one thing that you definitely want to try to prevent is the pilgrims, but we don't have that right now. So as we see here in the overlay, safe passage hasn't been researched, so Sparta is not looking to go for that at the moment. Maybe he will once he hits the 200 wood, but he needs to be careful to not get completely overrun, and there's just one Keshik that needs to stay here and then completely shut down the safe passage. I suppose this would be the best one, the sacred site that the pilgrims could go through, looking at the distance, but the army is standing right there, and then this one would be the next feasible one. But again, just place one Keshik over here just to be safe, and then one over here maybe, and then nothing should happen here. Sparta's trying to get back on gold with the tower. There's a couple archers, but again, with the 15 extra health with the Knights Hospital age up, really making a small difference here already. It's a budget textiles in a sense, and so can't really kill anything here, and we just need one Hospitaller Knight at some point to heal that up completely again. Horsemen getting toe-to-toe with the Kashik here, but that's not going to work out in the long term. But overall, solid composition here. Horsemen, spearmen, perfectly suited, technically at least, to deal with the archers and then with the Kashik here. And marcotamby needs to do a little bit of a back and forth kiting here, but horsemen are on top of the archers. Try to snipe down the spearmen rather. And numbers technically in favor for Sparta, but at the same time, now that the spearmen are gone, Kashik and Bo3, and there's more Kashik coming as well. A good attempt, I would say. Thinking out the archer numbers, that's really valuable, but it's still way too much in favor for marcotamby. So right now he still has the military superiority. It's just that he cannot really do anything with it still. With the tower, with the few units here defending, that's totally enough to just keep the villagers on gold, which enables Sparta to get his upgrades. Wheelbarrow coming in now, and yeah, we just gotta go from there. On the other side, we have a couple of military upgrades already for marcotamby, as well as wheelbarrow, double broadaxe and specialized pick. So is really looking more and more into the military and an equal bonus here as the fight here continues. Tower being burned down to half health, Kashik healing up slowly with each health, but it should not be enough here. At the same time, there's just a couple of spearmen archers being added as well. Is it going to be enough to burn down the tower? 110 health left. But the units are busy fighting against the horsemen. There's almost no archers left here in the mix. We're down to 3 total villagers. One going down, the second one should lose his health as well. As I'm saying, that 1 health is gonna survive with a sliver of health, but yeah, okay, 2 really low health villagers could get sniped by the archers, but yeah, not gonna happen for the time being. We have a couple more barracks being added. Sparta really trying to get the military numbers up as quickly as possible. Yeah, woodline is thinning out at some point. Again, a really nice bonus that you don't have to, add lumber camps all the time. You're not concerned about idle time, about walking distance. They're just gonna chop whatever. Side note, really strong on maps with a lot of stealth force as well, where it's really annoying to gather wood with any adhesive. I'm also a little bit unsure if you needed to go on gold, as Patrick was mentioning in the chat here. But at the same time, if you don't have gold, you're not gonna get a wheelbarrow, you're not gonna get your military upgrades. So eventually you kind of want to get back to some kind of gold income, whether that's pilgrims or just regular mining. So yeah, I do understand the thought behind it. It's just what we're gonna do now. We do have the pilgrims, the safe passage. There you go. So we have 1 pilgrim now. So this just gives you 1 pilgrim. If you now get the second upgrade, the sanctuary, you get another one, and then you get 1 pilgrim per fortress up to 10. So 8 fortresses needed to unlock the full bonus, and then you're looking at, I believe it's 1,000 something gold per minute, roughly speaking. This is the distance is already enough, 130. And I don't think that this is really something that is on marcotamby's radar right now. He actually hasn't even scouted this sacred site here, interestingly enough. So yeah, spearmen now really looking healthy for Sparta. There's also a couple of horsemen now circling around the woodline here, trying to get on top of the archers. Can Sparta make it work? If the spearmen are a little bit out of position, the villagers need to run now, and now archers are getting cornered by all of the Kashik, but at the same time now the spearmen are engaging finally, and Kashik are trying to not get poked by the spearmen, but rather by the horsemen, even though they have the same weapon, but they don't do the same damage. So you kind of want to fight against the horsemen first. And yeah, sure, there's a lot of units dying from marcotamby, but at the same time completely cleaning up Sparta's army. Because horsemen, at the end of the day, they're just horsemen. They're not the strongest unit in the game. They're not doing the most damage. They're super good against archers or ranged units, but yeah, kind of rough. So yeah, about the colors, the tournament organizers, they picked certain color patterns that players have to follow, and I believe that pink and purple is one of them. They could have gone for yellow and red as well if they wanted to, or yellow and blue is another one. But yeah, they chose these colors, and I guess we live in a free country, so they're allowed to do that. Sparta moving back on gold, but at the same time we do have fortified outposts being dropped here. So the classic Mongol tower rush being utilized here by the Golden Horde. One fortified outpost is standing there already, most notably having a lot more health, now getting the air slits in placement as well. Now the the Golden Horde army is moving in here. They don't benefit from the M network as the Mongols would, so it is just for vision and to put some units in there potentially to save them. We have the villager, there's the villager repairing it again, and I think Sparta is again losing access to the gold very, very quickly. Army numbers is insanely in favor of marcotamby, and yeah, next outpost is being dropped. We have the battering rams being constructed as well. And I wonder if we're gonna see the special ability that they have. Yeah, I was confused as well with the player colors, because I also imagined to remember that pink and purple were on one player color side, and so technically I guess they shouldn't be picking those colors. But I mean, it is what it is. Maybe they'll do it differently next time. Maybe they just want to test our ability to discern different colors. I have no idea. Sparta is trying to be on the foot here. He's taking both deer packs close to his base. He was going on this one first. Now he's expanding to the other one. Also going back on the big gold here on the side, which I'm not completely sure if we need that. I would love him to take that stone, then maybe a little bit of that gold, and then yeah, and then maybe just, you know, get a fortress out in his base. Just try to have some kind of more defensive capabilities here. I guess if I switch the team colors, I guess we could do this, but yeah, now we have like blue and red. I don't know if that's really an improvement here. Plus you also still have like the pinkish and purplish textures here and there, I don't know. Yeah, I mean he's looking fine on the gold side. It's just that he needs more stone to actually do something then, to maybe build a fortress. The Templar headquarters being under pressure here quite heavily with 3 battering rams now, units moving in. Horsemen again trying to circle around the Kashik somehow, getting on top of the archers, but by the time they do that they're already almost dead. And then the spearmen, they're just not enough here. 7 spearmen left, there's 4 more in queue. Villagers being pulled here to burn the rams, but I don't think that that's really the play that we want to do. 20 villager kills, and yeah, Sparta needs to tap out. marcotamby playing a solid game here with the Golden Horde against Knights Templar, maybe showing us that Knights Templar is is really strong in team games on land maps, I would say, because of the fortress, because then you're mostly left alone for enough time to actually, you know, boom away with the fortresses. But in a straight up 1v1 without water, kinda rough. Really kinda rough. Even though the army he was trying to get up with the army, he never really had the villager lead. I mean, a little bit, but you know, given that he's on 2TC, starting minute like 5.5 or whatever, that's not really what you want to see here. So yeah, very nice game here by marcotamby for sure with the Golden Horde, making sure that he gets the first win of the series, and that means, let me update the score here real quick. Since it's a best of 3, he just needs to have one more win under his belt, and then he would be able to advance to the next round at least. He'll not be qualified, of course, just like that, but he would have a better chance at least by advancing. Let's see if I can find the next game already from them. Do hope so. They should be in game technically already. Okay, I don't see it right now. Let's double check. So next game, I don't know what map they will be playing on, but the next game would be Japanese against Jeanne d'Arc. So that could definitely be an interesting matchup as well. There we go, Dry Arabia. Alright. Okay, let's update that. Dry Arabia with Jeanne d'Arc and Japanese. Again, a little bit unusual, I would say. You know, when it comes to Japanese, they are also kind of good on water, of course, as well. Really good at Dark Age aggression, so maybe that's something that we're gonna see really shortly. And they picked the same color, so we're gonna stick with that for now. And yeah, so players are in game. We're gonna hop into that just shortly, and then we're running in game 2. Okay. Alright, I need to switch that overlay here, and then that should be just fine. Alright, game number 2, Sparta playing Jeanne d'Arc this time. On the left side of Dry Arabia, marcotamby playing the Japanese in purple, opening with the Dark Age barracks. Not really a surprise, with the barracks costing 75 wood. The game really begs you to go Dark Age aggression. And then, yeah, going on the berries with one villager, opening with a farmhouse, which is a mix between a house and a mill. And then he also could go for the budget wheelbarrow, the Tawara. But for now, he's just happy with scouting, going to the opponent's base, figuring out where the resources are. There's a second gold, and there's the first one, so that's really nice for you if you want to go aggressive. Maybe, you know, potentially even a tower rush. Put a tower over here, you deny the double gold and technically even a stone, even though that's not something that Jeanne d'Arc is really concerned about right now. Early on in the game, we have Jeanne d'Arc, so she could... she's annoying to deal with, because she heals up and she's very tanky, and so attacking with just a single spearman can backfire a little bit. If we have the forge, we can also go for the, where is it, the Tatara? And that would increase the damage by the spearman by 1 already, so it would be 8 instead of 7. Now it's basically 7 against the 6 from the villagers. Let's see what Sparta is going to react with. Now, yeah, pulling the villagers, just going to be a little bit aggressive, and actually Jeanne d'Arc is the one taking damage. You see it's already healing up again, doesn't matter at all. So right now with just one spearman, now the second one is coming in, just focusing still the Jeanne d'Arc. I don't think that's the call that you're supposed to do. We have 328 gold, so that's enough for the age up and to have one knight out on the field. And now Sparta happily pulling back the villagers. He is happy to not have lost anything, to not have any injured villagers as well. And there we have the tower following up. So with one knight against at least 4 spearmen, it's not gonna be a fun time. So needs to look for other gold options eventually. This gold here on the side would be an option, but yeah, again, it's kind of far out here, so it is not necessarily the greatest option. 7 villagers being pulled to build up the school of cavalry. Okay, now pulling a couple villagers back. That would be ambitious to say the least, having 7 villagers on the landmark. marcotamby, of course, because of the early aggression and investing into 4 spearmen plus barracks plus a tower and the idle time of the villager here, is far off the feudal age still. He's now moving on to gold at least, so should get there relatively soon, but yeah, the timing, of course, very delayed. Villager is moving back, so we're not seeing multiple towers at least. It's just gonna be this one tower, and then with the 4 spearmen should be able to defend that just nicely. And with the Japanese getting extra stone by depositing gold, and getting gold by depositing stone, as we see here, popping up here a little bit, the +3. He eventually will have enough stone to just get the arrow slits even without moving on stone. So tower rushes with Japanese, kinda nice, feels kinda nice. At the same time, what does Sparta do? What does he see? He did find the 2nd gold now here, or the 3rd rather, so he could go for that one. All the other golds, there's one over here, but that's really exposed. There's one over here, of course, but these are really out there. You don't really want to go there unless being forced to do. marcotamby opening or building the Kura stores with 4 villagers, including the one that just got back, meaning that there's not going to be a fast castle for him. Sometimes we see players going the early aggression into a fast castle by just having 1 villager on the landmark. I'm confused why we only have 1 tile in between. I mean, in all honesty, either you have 2 tiles and then you have farms that you have in between, or you have no tiles at all, but 1 tile doesn't really make sense to me. But I guess both players kind of like to have 1 tile between landmark and town center. Maybe that's a tournament rule, I have no idea. Probably not. And yeah, marcotamby also adding a tower here on his gold, just to be mindful of the 1 knight that is now moving out. He doesn't really wanna get cut off gold himself. Sparta with the villagers and 1 archer is moving out actually on this gold because of the tower here, and the 1 villager, 1 spearman rather, was no match for all of the villagers here plus the archer. So should be able to take this gold relatively comfortably, but again, like if you want to have more than the 6 villagers here on the gold, the walking time alone is really annoying. So even though he isn't back on gold, that's not the worst situation for marcotamby to find himself in. Knight trying to find villagers here on the berries, but marcotamby moving the villagers away in time. This farm could be pressured by the knight, but the gold here should be safe. 2nd tower is still under construction, but yeah, just putting them in the tower should be enough for now. Knight is already almost half health here. We do have a second knight in queue, and then the Jeanne d'Arc, which he chose to go for the range option as well as a couple archers are making their way over just to deal with the spearmen that are probably going to be added here as a defense as well. Six villages on gold, that should be a healthy amount of gold income for a solid knight production. And yeah, as we see, 220, so that basically means he has enough gold production to constantly produce knights. With this full of cavalry, it's taking only 29 seconds, so that should be enough to constantly produce knights. He doesn't currently his stable is not being consecrated, but that will happen as soon as this becomes available. And then he'll pay less food for the knights as well. We have a tower from the Jeanne d'Arc as well, so kind of like a counter tower rush, but this is too close in range here, so as soon as he builds that tower, he's gonna realize that the range is enough, so he would have to pull that back at least 1 or 2 tiles. But at the same time, if he keeps it that way, even without arrow slits and placements, the range is enough to get on top of the villagers. Jeanne d'Arc using her divine arrow to do quite a lot of damage. It's 40 damage. And yeah, Villager is getting too close here, unfortunately losing his life here. Scout also losing his life, and now the Knights are here, but that also, oh my goodness, that is not the engagement you wanted to do. Losing a Knight, losing the Villager, having to cancel a tower, and I mean all that for nothing. You did the damage on the Villager, but marcotamby reacting in the right way by pulling that one Villager off of gold. Moving into the floating gate now as well, so this is definitely not the way that Sparta wanted this to go. Pretty rough start for him for sure. marcotamby looking really solid now, moving into the castle age with the floating gate. With 10 villagers, that's pretty much standard, so it's not rushing, but at the same time, it's not too chilling either. Jeanne d'Arc trying again to get another hit on the villagers, but yeah, with the 40 damage, you would have to do 2 hits and then go for the divine arrow, but then of course your opponent will not let you do that, so that's probably not gonna happen. Floating gate coming in, marcotamby does have a stable already, and we have a mounted samurai in queue, and then yeah, just 10 more seconds because of the Yoshiro. And then yeah, Shinto priests already moving out, so really solid standard stuff here from Japanese, and yeah, it looks very nice here with the mounted samurai. Get a couple more. We're having 4 or 5 knights here on the field with a couple of archers. Realistically, he doesn't really have to have a whole lot of mounted samurai on the field here, just because they're already really strong in castle age. And then he can already pressure this, just kill off the archers, and then the ram is gone as well. And Jeanne d'Arc will not have the greatest time here against the mounted samurai. Second ram is being constructed. But we don't have a whole lot of units coming in here. 2 more knights in queue, but it's gonna be the 5 archers for now, since there's no spearmen here. That should totally be enough, but numbers slowly getting up here for marcotamby. 4 mounted samurai against 8 feudal age royal knights. Not something you definitely want to take right now, but you could definitely contest it. We have the fortified outpost here as well, so already having a good chunk of health, and we have the villagers in garrison in the tower here, and now the knights clash against each other. 5 knights, 5 mounted samurai against the knights here. 1 going down already. Solidly looking, at least for Sparta at the moment. Needs to retreat with the very low health mounted samurai getting sniped away. And this fight did go a lot better for Sparta than I would have expected to. First tower going down, villagers on the run, gonna lose a couple of them. But at least for now, still surviving. One villager going down, two going down, and three. marcotamby pushed off gold here, so he has 100 gold, which is just 10 shy of what you would need to go for another mounted samurai. So that's not something he can do right now, at least. We do have Dark Age Spearman, now we're getting the Harden upgrade at least. We have a couple relics, so if we would have a monastery to put them somewhere, then we would have some passive gold income as well. But yeah, Floating Gate also under attack. Maybe we'll get another Yoshiro before it will be destroyed. But at least for now, the knight numbers for Sparta are looking pretty solid still. We don't have chivalry yet, so they're not gonna heal up anytime soon. And marcotamby is just using the time that this takes to be destroyed for losing more spearmen. That's the one thing that he needs right now, to have the spearmen. But then again, we also have the archers. Jeanne did get killed. We don't have her at the moment. It's gonna take another 14 seconds to respawn, and she's gonna make her way over here as well. And yeah, before the next Zero spawn, these Rams actually are gonna finish the job. House is now under attack as well, so yeah, marcotamby actually being housed now, so he needs to go for additional houses. He needs to go on wood fast. He did go for a Shinto Shrine just to have something where he can put the relics in. But this is rough. This is looking kind of rough here for marcotamby. Yeah, marcotamby is still housed. He has 60 population right now and just 40 population in the houses. Archer going right through the town center here, so almost losing his life completely here. And now, yeah, on the deer pack here, a lot of spearmen though, so the archer numbers are not enough. Knights getting on top of them, but they're super low health bro already. Now there's a couple mounted samurai as well. I don't think that's the engagement you want to take. I think at this point you just sacrifice the low health rams and just take your army and run. Because yeah, now Sparta is down to 4 knights, this one, and then just a couple that, where are they? There's 2 more, and then there's a third one coming in, there you go. So yeah, not exactly the fight that you wanted to take, but I mean, I guess it's enticing to shut down the food eco here, but yeah, not having the archer numbers means that Sparta was losing most of the knights here, unfortunately. So looking at destroyed value, marcotamby killing a lot more than he lost. And Sparta, of course, still way off of the castle age, just doubling down on the feudal age here, but number-wise, army value is pretty much the same right now. I mean, if you have enough archers, I guess they are useful. It's just that if you only have 4 archers against 14, 15 spearmen, then that would be enough. But if you had like 15 to 20, maybe, yeah. Yeah, regardless, Sparta now reclaiming the first gold vein that he lost pretty early on in the game. So yeah, this gold is slowly but surely running out. There's still a lot of food here, so he's just gonna transition all the villagers over to food, and then he's gonna reclaim that gold. So overall, looking a little bit better here. It's just that with no castle age inside, we have 7 mounted samurai, 14 spearmen. They could be upgraded to veterans here at some point as well. And then we're in a lot of trouble. And Floating Gate also being built up again, so just that we can get finally get that one additional Yoshiro that Japanese is looking for, and potentially putting that in the town center. That's what I would do next, but we'll see. We'll see where he'll put that. Actually, the timer is resetting, that is annoying. We do have one bannerman as well. Nice raid here on the gold. There's still only 2 towers, so well, I guess now that a couple villages died, we can garrison all of the remaining ones. So that's, you know, that's at least something. But Mounted Samurai being really tanky here, killing a bunch of villagers. So the villager kill numbers, they're equal now, and marcotamby now moving out, realizing that he cannot really prevent that from happening, and they're already retreating anyway. We have a good amount of archers, so we could be able to deal with the spearmen. Again, they're still feudal age, so not the strongest units that we face right now. We have a couple of horsemen, but they're also feudal age. We're getting veterancy spearmen now, so thinning out the numbers, getting at least 2 spearmen kills, that's kind of nice. Forge under attack, so that gold is gone. This one is running out shortly as well. Then we have one more in the back here for the Japanese. So overall, yeah, just doubling down on the feudal age. I mean, there's no point in delaying that and trying to go castle age now. We have so many units against us. Speaking about that, archers being under attack, rams need to get cancelled. Spearmen now veterancy. Losing. Yeah, looks like we lost both of the ramps here, so that's 400 wood down the drain. Healing from Jeanne coming in, but the numbers are just not there. We don't have enough knights, we don't have spearmen to counter the mounted samurai, and we don't have enough archers to effectively deal with the spearmen. This is looking grim now for Sparta. Jeanne has fallen, and with that the army is in shambles. Their dear leader got killed off, and I think that the game is coming to a close relatively soon from here on. I mean, the issue is in part at least the tech advantage, that if you had both castle age, you could argue just going knights against knights and you'll be kind of fine, you know, having the extra charge damage or damage after the charge, and maybe even having chivalry and things like that. But if you're still feudal age, you're an age behind, and the mounted samurai are just vastly superior in that situation. Going for spearmen yourself definitely would be an option. And I mean, your opponent currently doesn't have a tricom, so if you do the switch, if you have the spearmen and then a solid amount of archers and knights, then definitely the situation is a little bit different here. Mounted samurai trying to dive to TC, villagers hiding quickly enough. And yeah, so I guess with an earlier tricomp, which is not something that French really likes to do that much, maybe it would have been a different story. But yeah, this is just it's definitely an uphill battle from here on, you know, let's put it that way. marcotamby just having a lot of army here right now, and well, I mean, so to the question, why did marcotamby leave here? If we're looking at what he sees absolutely nothing. So he just sees that he's running into the town center. He doesn't want to run into the town center. He doesn't see what is there behind it. He sees a couple of units, and then he's just mindful of the fact that if you take a bad engagement, we've seen multiple people taking bad engagements when they were ahead, and then all of a sudden they lost the game. just because they were not paying attention to what is happening with the units there. Because the town center does really, you shouldn't underestimate the town center, and so it does make sense to pull back a little bit. You don't need to risk anything. You don't need to dive the TC. Now he's feeling more confident. Now he's scouted that there's really nothing standing in his way, so he can just go ahead and just do it. And yeah, Sparta scrambling to keep his army alive. Jeanne's champion getting called as well as she returns to the battlefield, but that's not gonna be really enough here. Way too many units still for Sparta. Yeah, way too high army count here to deal with that effectively. Again, with the age of it, with the age advantage as well. Really rough game here for Sparta, unfortunately. marcotamby winning the game and also winning the series with 2-0. Yeah, so Sparta did a really good job here with the villagers, killing, finding a good raid here, killing a few villagers, and then having the lead, but then it just crumbled at some point when it took a while until the age difference really made a difference here, but when that happened, yeah, marcotamby had the numbers, he could just dive, whatever. And then, yeah, having more units, but the opponent has better units, that's, yeah, oftentimes not enough, unfortunately.